Hi there. Thanks for the opportunity to present. First of all, there's forward-looking statements within the presentation, so everybody should do their own due diligence. And I think the part I'd like to start with is where we're starting today. Where is Libero currently in our share structure? We're at a $25 million market cap. We're trading for 50 cents, more or less. We have a very tight structure at 47 million shares. Decent liquidity at 150,000 shares today, even during a very quiet time period. Key commitment by management, and I will get into B2 as more of a kind of a quiet holding in U.S. Global that's participated in some of our raises. So that's where we are today, because I would like to talk about where I think we could be going in the near future. And starting that story, I am a mining engineer. I've worked 25 years in the industry, 15 of those years in South America. And we really like to apply that philosophy of whether or not the projects we're working on have the potential to become future mines. 90% of the world copper production comes from open pit copper porphyry mines. So that means you're looking for deposits that are near surface, that are disseminated, potential for good strip ratio, et cetera, but you're also looking for size and scale. You're looking at least for 200 million tons and projects that have the potential to put that size a resource out there. The next thing is obviously jurisdiction. So we've acquired 3 separate projects, significant projects within the Americas, one in British Columbia, one in Colombia, country, and one in San Juan, Argentina, and have also put together a pretty amazing team. I wish I had time to go into detail. All the names in orange have been added, have joined the team since the beginning of the year, including myself. I joined in January, with tons of experience in exploring in British Columbia and also in South America. Not just exploring, but also advancing some significant sized projects. So diving into the projects, it's a lot to go over with 3 different ones, but the first one is Big Red. They made a discovery of a copper porphyry at the very end of 2020, which was the catalyst to converting the company and really making this big transformation. But it was unfortunately shorter holes, but mineralization from surface with grades that looked very nice to certain acquisitions and mines that have been put into production within the area. So this year we've really been working on confirming the overall extent. We want to make sure that it has the potential to have the over 200 million ton potential. We've done our work, we've done our soil sampling, 3D IP, and we put 10 drill holes into the project, including at the very end of season, a new showing that was discovered during this season. So we have a total of 10 drill holes, and 1 drill hole is back. So between now and the end of the year, we're expecting 9 more holes to be coming in as news flow. But we really like the results of the first ever diamond drill hole that's been put into this project. It's over 500 meters long of continuous mineralization from surface all the way to the bottom, averaging 0.22% copper, copper equivalent, and also having some interesting intersections that should be able to, that we've seen in the other drill holes that are coming out, that should create vectoring to get towards the porphyry center in a higher grade zone. Those are some of the interesting intersections from that first drill hole that we'll be using on vectoring in the future. So the other decision is it worth to continue? Can you create value with this type of project? So my favorite comparable is G2 Gold, because they had a discovery hole at actually a very similar, slightly lower grade than we did, and then over several years they put 30,000 meters into the project, created an $800 million ton resource, and sold to Newmont for $450 million. An 800 million ton resource is approximately a cube of 700 by 700 by 700 meters of mineralization. So it gets you an idea of the size of the target. 500 meters of continuous mineralization, and some of the other drill holes, we think that we're onto something that could be of similar size. So we know that if we continue to invest in this project, that we can create some significant value. All projects are not the same, but it's obviously a much higher valuation than we are at today. So the next project is a project that we optioned at the beginning of this year in January. It's a project that in 2018 was drilled by Latin Metals. It was the last hole that ever went into the project, and actually an amazing hole at 387 meters at 0.78, including the first 200 meters over at a 1% copper equivalent. Again, does it have the size and scale? It's got an alteration that's over 2 kilometers by 1 kilometer. So obviously a very large system. It has the possibility to be a large scale. Unfortunately, that hole was drilled in 2018, copper, Argentina, prospect generator model, and has never been drilled on since. So we're very excited to be working on this project. We're currently working on a reactivation of the drill permit. It's an election year in Argentina, but the elections just happened, and we've been told informally that after elections are over is the time to be reactivating this project. So we're currently planning to be drilling on it in Q1 of next year. We have a 5,000 meter program planned to start stepping out. We've taken that time to be able to relog all the old core. We really like the things we're seeing, the evidence of multiple pulses, the alteration types, the vein types, that shows a demonstration of multiple high-grade pulses have come into this system coming from some sort of feeder zone. When we did the comparison between the geology of the project into the local area, obviously we're an elephant country with Filo de Sol, Pascalama, Las Palambres, etc. Same Miocene belt. We've aged our rocks. But geologically, it looks most like Filo de Sol. We look at the same types of alteration, the sericite bleaching, the same types of vein types, etc. So our original plan was pretty much what Filo de Sol was doing in May of 2019, where we're going to be testing the top of the system and creating the vectors to looking for a potential feeder zone. So we were obviously very excited, I'm sure Filo more, when they hit their feeder zone in May of of this year, and probably put out one of the best drill holes. So it only increased our confidence that this was the right direction to take this project, and obviously from the valuation we are today and the valuation that Filo has, it's obviously could create significant value for our shareholders. The last project, which is actually very close to my heart, my favorite project, is the Mocoa project in Colombia. It's a project that already contains a significant resource of over 300 million tons, over 6 billion pounds of copper equivalent, over 500 million pounds of moly. World moly production is 600 million pounds, so if that was produced over 20 years, that's over 5% of the world moly production. But it's close to my heart because about 10 years ago, I was Senior Vice President of Corriente Resources, which had the Mirador project in Ecuador. It's the exact same Jurassic belt, just across the border. Took that project through feasibility sale, and then 1 year afterwards, as a part of the sales agreement, took that project into construction, and it went on to become the first large-scale mining operation in the history of Ecuador. Also with us is Ernie Mast, who's a director, who was CEO of Cobre Panama in Met's sub, who also took that project all the way through permitting. It then went on to First Quantum and went on to become the first large-scale mining operation in the history of Panama. So we know how to work in these types of jurisdictions, and I think the difference in Colombia, a lot more political will and support to get these projects moving forward. A president saying he wants to be the third largest producer of copper in Latin America. You have, and very much focused on bringing in investment into the country. So we knew the way to create value on this project. The first setup, it was drilled last in 2012 by B2 Gold, was to make sure that we were establishing very strong social license at the project. So since the beginning of this year, we've put together a very strong strategy on how to create strength locally, alliance nationally, and continue to drive political will. And over that year time period, around the September, October time period, we said, we're there, we're ready. And so the first thing that we did is in November of this year, we flew geophysics, we flew magnetics and LIDAR, and we're now following up with soil sampling, because that's probably one of the best indicators of identifying new potential porphyry centers. You can see the original deposit was drilled off of soil anomalies. There's an untested deposit or a potential deposit to the right, to the east, but the overall area has not been sampled, so we would like to continue to generate new potential expansion opportunities at the deposit. And then the last thing that we did was put in for an additional 100,000 hectares, occupying all the open land on the current Jurassic Porphyry belt to kind of lock in the project and make sure that the relationships that we developed with the local communities continue to provide strength. And now we are actually ready for the point that, so we've done the geophysics, we're doing our soil sampling, and we're preparing to start drilling. If you actually look at the project, it was drilled very systematically by B2 Gold, a vertical hole, 2 side holes, and already has some significant drill results in it, 70.75% copper over 600 meters. But as you can see, it has a very high grade core that goes through the center. So we're going to be spending about 50-50 mix between infilling and upgrading the current resource. And we feel that we can put out some significant drill results during that time period while we continue to work on expansion, either new targets or expansion of the existing resource, because it's open in all directions, to the north, to the south, to the east, and at depth. And we really like the opportunity here because, again, there's a clear path to create significant value for us. Basically doing something very similar at Solaris, but again, it's a project that already has significant drill results in it, so it's very low risk and high reward for the company. We basically following in the same footsteps as them. They got their community agreements, they did their geophysics, they did their soil sampling, and then started putting out significant drill results into the project, and we are right at that very similar stage. Over 18 months, they've created a market cap of $1.4 billion, so we also like the direction that this project can also go. So in summary, today we're at a 25 million market cap. We put together the team, we put together the projects, we put together the strategy, we're executing on that strategy. Big Red has drilling done, more drill results are coming out. Mocoa is right on the backs to start drilling, and Esperanza, we feel in the first quarter we'll be able to drill. All 3 projects can create significant value for our shareholders. Thank you.